Welcome back to another TerranScapes video, and welcome to you who may be watching a TerranScapes video for the first time. Today I wanted to revisit a piece that I haven't shown in a little while. This is the ruined tower, which was inspired by the Weathertop ruins from Lord of the Rings. And it's not a replica of it in any way, but it sort of, you know, embodies some of the feel of that kind of a piece. And I have done some different things to it that I wanted to showcase to you today, some new materials that I've used, and you can get a sense of maybe how the piece has been updated. So let's take a closer look. So here you can see the piece in a little bit closer detail. The structure is built from cast Hirst Arts blocks. It's a design of mine that utilizes a couple different molds. And the base that it sits on is about 13 inches across. The total height is about 4 inches. And the actual structure features, you know, a variety of openings, a partial staircase, the sort of remnants of 3 external columns, and has you know, lots of debris and chip blocks and weathered bits scattered all throughout it. The real things that I wanted to showcase were some of the attempts I'm making to try to bring a little bit more age to the piece. So I did wash the piece with some weathering powders a couple times, but I went quite a bit lighter than I have in the past. And I'll show you another close-up of this in just a second, but I just wanted to give you a sense of the overall feel, whereby I wanted to add some dust in between some of the rubble that was represented on the piece, and I went a little light, and I think I could have gone a little bit heavier, but I've been afraid to go too heavy with the powders, as once you apply them, it's really hard to take them off. So I actually went over this piece a couple times with some very light amounts to try to see how that was going to build up over time, and of course you have to wait between layers and whatnot, but it did, you know, collect a little bit in some of these cavities, which I really liked the effect of, and gives a little bit of a contrast to the overall blue, well, it's not really blue, I should say the cold colors that the piece has overall. The other thing that I've tried to do with this piece is also to break out the airbrush and start working with that a little bit more, to add in some colors along the bottom and try to tie in some of the dusty, dirty feel that that an aged piece might have with some of the dirt carrying up onto the piece. Let me give you a little bit of even closer look and highlight a few more of the piece's features. So here's one of the first things that I just wanted to showcase. I decided I recently purchased a variety of materials from Silflor, including some of their different styled grasses, and this is actually their goldenrod. The goldenrod comes in a sheet. It's a little bit tricky to work with at first, but it's not too hard, and I wanted to have something that gives a little bit more of a pop-out contrast. It's a little bit of a brighter yellow than I quite expected, but I wanted to try it out anyway, and one of the comments I received from somebody who was here in the shop taking a look at this piece is that they really liked how it adds a sort of bright contrast to the overall, like I said, cold and muted look of the piece. So I've decided to include them, and I've just stuck a few in around a couple rocks just to kind of break it up a little bit and add another kind of vegetation. One of the goals I'm always trying to do is diversify the vegetation, as if you know, again, I've said this before, but when you look out into the world, it's not composed of 4 different plants. There's usually dozens of different kinds of species in any one area. One of the other things that I've utilized in this piece is I've added in some of that Silflor ivy that I've showcased in another couple videos. I really like this ivy. I like the look it gives, and it gave me an opportunity to practice with it and to try to see how it works in some different kinds of areas where I might want to have it, you know, wrapping around, coming up across pieces, and actually, let me come around here and I'll show you, and how to give it maybe a little sense of it wrapping around some of the pillars as well. And that carries on through. See if I can give you a shot from the inside here. There we go. And here you can see, you know, it comes around onto the inside of the piece and carries up the pillar, and a few more represented along the side here. So overall, really liked how that brings a little bit more age to the piece. It is a little time consuming. The materials are a little expensive, but I really feel like overall it's really worthwhile. And I guess this gives you a chance to just see, here we go, it's a nice opportunity, you know, some of that coloring just along the bottom to try to, you know, break up the overall flat feel of the grays and the dark grays and the highlights, and just change that texture a little bit visually as you transcend down the piece towards the base. And here's a little close-up where you can see how some of those weathering powders have collected into the recesses. It's one of the challenges that working with them I'm finding in this piece particular, where I was starting to get significant buildup in some of these areas, but wasn't getting some of the coverage that I expected, perhaps over some of the smaller recesses in the brickwork itself. So it's something I'm going to work on, and it may be that I just need to be more diligent about sopping up some of the excess as it pools in these areas and mix a slightly thicker ratio to cover it up. But I think, as always, I tend to go light and build from there rather than try to go heavy and have a mistake, as I feel subtle changes are much more effective and a little bit safer to do than trying to go for something really bold and dramatic. So I hope you enjoyed taking a quick look at this piece. I didn't want to make a very long video about it, but I just wanted to show some of the improvements that I had done to it, and kind of, you know, give it some ability to contrast with the previous work that I've done, and it gives you a little sense of some of the things I'm trying out, some of the materials and techniques that I'm using. I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned, as I've got several other pieces that I'm going to be putting up over the next 24 hours or so, so you're going to be able to take a look at some of the other work that I've been working on this month. So thanks for watching again, and I'll talk to you soon.